Every man in your family had the same problem, and you're about to be the one who ends it. This is how you do it. Now you're wondering, how is this possible considering what we're discussing? And we're talking about Batman, split identity, Bane, the Joker, and Scarecrow. Okay? Cool. I'm going to break it down so that you understand what I'm talking about. Now, my name is Matt Dill. I'm a consultant who helps men lead themselves so that they can lead everywhere else. I've dedicated 10 years to this based on my personal story, my personal journey, and I help 25 to 34-year-olds go through the same process. I've helped multiple people, had amazing conversations with from celebrities to private investors, and you freaking name it. However, in today's video, I'm going to help you, whoever you are, understand how to be the man that ends this cycle for good. Hi. Thank you. This cycle for good. So, we start off with Bane, the Joker. My daughter's behind the camera. She's trying to communicate. Do you have to talk whilst I'm talking? He said, yeah. I can't wait for your mom to come back. You know that, right? Hi. Anyways, so these are representatives of smoke screens that we were told to follow. Okay, so Scarecrow represents the oldest one. Hi. So Scarecrow is fear, right? If we've watched the Batman Begins, we know exactly what Scarecrow does. And if you haven't watched it, I recommend all my clients to watch it. And it's a game-changing movie. It talks about it gives you tips on how to start a business. Like people don't see it. I think there's different ways to look at something, and depending on your capacity, you'll be able to see the dots connect. When I first watched it, I just simply saw it as an action movie. Now I'm seeing the same patterns someone has to implement to build a business. You have to apply, you have to reach out, you have to have a target problem, you have to have a ICP that you're specifically focusing on, you have to have a mission that you are certain that it's way bigger than you are, that you're determined to fix. But anyways, that's what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about Scarecrow. Scarecrow instilled or believed in fear. That was his drive. He believed that in order for him to gain respect, he had to instill fear. This is why, again, I'm not sure why there's this big propaganda saying, oh, men are not what they used to be. I don't think you want them to. Like, I genuinely think you do not want them to be what they used to be like. Because if you grew up believing that Scarecrow, fear, okay, let's just call it what it is, fear, is what is required in order for you to have respect, then best believe you weren't trying to connect with people. You were not trying to make people feel understood. You were not trying to empathize with people. Your simple job was getting stuff done at whatever the cost is. So if that means a little spanking here, a little beating there, they would do so. Thank God, my dad said, I want no part in that. He made it a promise, maybe because of what he grew up in, to say, I'm going to take the opposite route. So he connected. He said from the very start to me, he said, listen, fear no one. Okay? So luckily, I didn't grow up with that. I grew up with, well, my mom was slightly different. My mom was very fear driven, right? In terms of, I need you to understand that you should fear the consequences of what you're currently doing. So the problem is, however, when you now turn that truth into an absolute truth, then you're dismissing the lies or the cracks in it. That's a bar. And this is what a lot of us do. They will pick a profile, absorb the whole lot of it, and dismiss the wrongs in it. Okay? And that's my problem with the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow has some benefit. You need to fear consequences. Why? Because if you don't fear consequences, you're going to repeat those consequences. If you look at how the brain actually works, that's because I actually decided to read instead of just picking up and recording. Well, the brain is wired to, number one, predict, keep you safe, and most importantly, run as far as possible from discomfort. This is why, regardless of how much work you've done on yourself, if you haven't rewired yourself, your brain finds comfort in chaos. And it doesn't matter how much peace you're looking for consciously, until you switch that rewiring, you would generally only find peace in chaos. A peaceful person will come to you, and your brain will say, this isn't safe. And it will, obviously, you're going to question it. Like, how is this not safe? Well, it's going to say, you're not used to this. And most importantly, this isn't what you can predict. So this person is peace when you're like, what are they hiding? What's different about them? What are they really here for? And then you push him, and then they snap and you're like, ha ha! I knew it. System never fails me. Yeah, it doesn't, because it's wired to do that. It's wired to prove you right. So your brain isn't wired to sort of keep the facts. No, it's wired to keep you safe and predictable. So just remember that the next time you want to have an argument. Anyways, so that's the issue with the Scarecrow, fear. And a lot of us men think, till today, to the extremes, is that we just need to go back to how things used to be. We just need to go back to men being feared and adored and everyone else following suit. That is the extreme message the Scarecrow is carrying. Okay? And some of us, because of the Joker, which is prominent right now. So right now, we're in the Dark Knight sequel, right? So the Joker is the main villain, right? And I'm going to explain what it represents when it comes in terms of what we're discussing today. But because of that, a lot of us will stay in the shadows and just nod our heads and say, yeah, getting back in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know what you're saying, and that's not right. You know what I'm saying? I know what you're saying, it's just not right. Because fear has a part to play, but it's not an absolute truth. You cannot use it as an absolute to cover up for everything. I need fear to succeed. I need fear to be happy. I need fear. It doesn't make sense. You need to be able to be agile, versatile, and adapt. You see, the main thing that a lot of us, and I'm going to get to this, is the skill. Everyone talks about IQ. Everyone is starting to talk about emotional intelligence, but no one talks about AQ, which is adaptation quotient. Yeah, adaptation quotient, which is the ability to adapt to different scenarios. That is a skill 3 of them missed, and he excels at. If you don't have the ability to adapt, if you don't have the ability to look at the current situation and have a different set of weapons that can use, because if you look at how each one of them got defeated, they stuck with one thing, and he failed at one thing, he failed at the other thing, and then eventually he was like, bam, this works. That's how he won each and every time, right? So the Joker is the mainstream. So what does he believe in? A lot of us know that, roughly, right? Obviously, I'm not gonna get you to raise your hands and tell me, but what is it? No fear.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
He's like, human nature is gonna do what human nature does best: survive. And what else? No rules, no regulations, freedom, equality. I screw you. I screw the rich, right? And let's have some fun. See, funnily enough, it's only in this generation that the Joker can actually become an understandable movie. You want to know why? They've done it again. They've turned freedom into an absolute truth. And the truth of the matter is that when the person now says, oh, fear is kind of still needed, they're like, no, it's not. We don't need fear. We need freedom. We need liberation. And everyone needs to be on this. We turn that into an absolute truth again. And then what happens? Right? Well, in my case and scenario, to bring it right back down to a practical scenario, is I remember when I was trying to be vulnerable, guess what? It backfired. So because of the models I'm only aware of, I decided to stick back to fear. And I became the avoidant person who was not going to deal with anything. Right? Guess what that got me? Distant from everyone. I'm not taking no one serious. I'm the cold guy that doesn't deal with anything on anyone. When in reality, all that really was is I didn't know any better. So I only knew we followed the new script that says freedom, or cry and share your emotions, or go back to what you used to do. Right? And this is the trouble we're having right now. It's either, oh, it's toxic masculinity, or let's go back. If you believe what they said, you're toxic, and if you don't believe what they said, then you're one of us. And it's like, no, there's a better way to handle this. How about we just do what works? Huh? No. But then we can't label that. We can't label that because that's the outlaw, right? Which we're gonna get to. So the Joker is the absolute freedom. Again, an extreme example of what doesn't work based on the fact that we tried fear failed, so let's get freedom out instead. Okay? And I'm a big fan of freedom, but within reason. Because if I just have freedom within everything and I completely dismiss the essence of discipline, the essence of consistency, then guess what? I will fail based on the simple fact that those are principles. We are telling men right now that it's okay for you to be this, it's okay for you to be that. Forget discipline. Discipline is what they used to do. Screw them. Whatever they done, screw it. I disagree. Men need discipline. Men need a mission. Right? And what needs to happen is adaptability. This is such an important video because, like I said, this is about building the man your family needs and doesn't exist yet. Right? Next one, Bane. What's Bane represent? Performance. Which is a mix of the two without the foundation.
At least you can talk! Who are you?
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
You've turned the mission into whatever it is you're trying to build. But you dismiss the Joker. So now your thing is absolute mission. I don't care about my emotions. I don't care about anything. Right? And most people that have tried fear realize that fear without mission is just dictatorship. Mission starts to show you a bit of discipline. And notice between these three, Bane, in my opinion, was the closest person to get it right. So when a guy is now in this space, he's extremely disciplined. He's obsessive. He's obsessed with his mission. He doesn't give a toss about anything. We end up promoting him. Capitalism says, this is the billionaire that we need to follow. This is the obsessed guy that is going to make it happen. Right? But then this guy knows that he's hollow within. Notice, I remember there was a girl that he saved from the pit he was in. And that girl became a servant to him or something like that. But notice how if he was able to implement the adaptability quotient skill that we're discussing here, he was the toughest enemy, by the way, by a mile. Because most of these guys were just really pushing Batman's morals. He outstrengthened him. He was genuinely way stronger than he was. And yeah, we can say he wasn't human and all that stuff, but it was more than that. He broke his spirit. Why? Because that's what happens when you're dealing with someone that is obsessed about his mission and doesn't care about anything else. What are the cons of this, however? Because I remember being in that same position. Well, you don't get to connect with people. Right? The few people you have around, yeah, they're there, but the people you truly want to connect with, you don't get to connect with them because you don't value connection, because you think it's just not practical, it's not visible, or whatever the case is. This is where so many men end up being so incarcerated because they're hearing the Joker and it sounds like a Joker, they're hearing the Scarecrow and they're like, nah, I don't care about fear. I don't want to dictate no one. I just want my mission. I just want to be obsessive. So many ambitious men end up there. And they stay there. And they end up lonely. Because they built a mask that can only feed them when they perform. They've built a mask that's only fed when they're useful. They've built a mask that only says, it's only when I need you that you can be used. Other than that, I don't need you. You don't need to exist. So, what does Batman have to do with all of this? Except for the fact that he destroyed each single one of them. Looking for the marker. Hi. Right? So he destroyed each single one of them, right? But how did he do that? Well, the foundation of Batman, first of all, is so critical. This is what we need to understand. At first, he was Bruce Wayne. Okay? Just like most of us. And Bruce Wayne, on his own, was naive, angry, yes, and weak. Yeah? Which I'm sure so many of us can relate to. I remember growing up, I went through the phase where once I accepted that I had been naive, I was angry because of what I was getting, and I was weak, I needed a mask to wear. I needed a scarecrow that would instill fear so that I would never get bullied again, or I would never put myself in danger again. Or I needed freedom that now detaches me from connecting with people that I don't want to connect with. Or I needed Bane, I needed a mission that makes me feel like whatever it is I'm doing doesn't even matter as long as I achieve what I need to achieve. However, in order for Batman to be completed, which is actually quite timely with the Daredevil, I'm actually taking a very long tangent and I love it, but which is quite, he needed to become one with his fear. So what's Batman? Batman is the Bat's fear. Okay. Man. Mission. Yeah. So Bruce Wayne needed to become one with his mission, his fear, in order for him to become a whole person. He was no longer just Batman or Bruce Wayne, but was just the mission, but in its complete form. He was whole. Why? Because he accepted who he was. I need you to understand something, yeah? You see, as men, a lot of us think, let's just do what we're told, or let's just do whatever. I'm here to tell you that the secret to everything I'm teaching you, or I'm sharing in this channel, is just be whole, be complete. Accept yourself fully so that you can lead yourself properly. When you deny yourself, when you deny your desire to wanting to achieve certain things, you have ambitions, right? You deny yourself because you want to appear as a good guy that's humble and meek, whatever the case is. I hope you're not doing that. Anyways, you deny yourself. When you have anger issues and you don't want to confront them or find avenues to actually deal with them properly, you deny yourself. And every single time you deny yourself, you remain weak, naive, and angry. Because people are taking advantage of what they can't see because you are refusing to show it to them. And I'm not saying you show them your anger, I'm saying you show them that you're complete. And guess what complete people do? They don't need anything from anyone. I'm not saying you shouldn't ask for help. But that is the whole point. You're able to ask for help because even if you don't get it, you'll be fine because you're complete. You're able to be honest in such situations and scenarios because you're complete. Because if you lose them, you'll be okay. The biggest lie you've been told, and the reason why you're not able to achieve this, is because for some reason you still believe to some sort of extent that any of those three villains will be able to give you what you need. And that's a lie. The only way you can be complete as an individual is by being whole. By being kind but strong. By understanding how to be weak and structured. By understanding how to have discipline and fun. The whole point of being whole is the balance between the capacity to bear evil but still choosing to do good regardless. You want to look at examples, feel free to look at them. Let's look at Jesus. Jesus is the perfect example. He could have obliterated the officers that came to pick him up. He said, angels, you know what, you lot, just relax, it's okay. He went weak, he went naive. He dashed chairs at the temple. He was getting on to the Pharisees. He said, you lot are sons of the devils. But here you are, screaming that I'm a good person. I don't want to insult or make people feel uncomfortable because I want everyone to feel free. That's not what Jesus done. Jesus spoke his truth. If you believe that what you believe, what you're looking at is wrong, say it, call it out. I think what you're doing is wrong. You can do it in a way, however, that is balanced. That doesn't require them to believe your absolute truth because you're complete. Right? You understand how to navigate scenarios and situations because you understand that it's all about being whole. You see, in the shadow work, that's all it is. I'll share a personal story, right? So I remember prior to my transformation, whenever I used to get nightmares, there was this black figure that would pop up and I would try to punch it. And obviously in my dreams now, I'm assuming that clearly I should be able to do this. I should be able to do this guy in. I don't know who he is or what he wants, but I'm just gonna bah. But the problem was my punches just weren't landing. And no matter how hard I tried, it was just like nothing was landing. And I'm just like, how is this even possible? Right? I felt so powerless in front of this figure. Until I became one and I accepted myself fully. A lot of you are being chased by a ghost you haven't recognized because you're refusing to face yourself. Because that ghost really is your shadow. And it's going to carry on chasing you until you accept that all it's trying to say to you is, please take your throne. Because no one else is leading. No one else will take it. Once you become whole, I need you to understand that you're going to have interactions with people. And they're going to question, how is it that you're so calm, balanced, but yet still able to connect with people? All those archetypes are disconnected. The fear factor dismisses the connection. The freedom factor dismisses the discipline. The performance factor dismisses the foundation that the mission requires in order for them to run effectively without feeling hollow or empty. They all had something missing. And I spent years trying to connect the dots because that's something I struggled with. I tried to drive these fancy cars. Let me see if I still have the copies. I'm not even trying to boast, but look, I've had these cars and I promise you, they meant nothing. They meant nothing. Yeah, you get the buzz at the start when you get it, but after a while it's just, what am I doing with this? I'm not saying this because I don't think you should want to have nice things. You can. But understand that if that's what you're after, please believe it has an expiry date. Because what you're looking to fix isn't out there. It's in it. If you want to understand how to go about this, you want to become the man that you know you need to be. I help people unleash this. I've been doing this for a few years and I love it. The first person I ever done this with failed probation. They was about to kick him out. Within a year he became a branch manager. And that's when I knew that this is not about me. This is about people being able to unlock themselves to the next level. Okay? If you're interested in doing that, the book to do that is in the bio. Really hope this video has helped you in looking at Batman in a different way. Because, especially now that it's out, I want you to see the connection. And if you're into business and stuff like that, promise you, that's the easiest way to balance a bit of action and entertainment with actually learning a few things about business and all things. Batman outsourced. He leveraged. He wasn't scared to use his talents or his unfair advantages. So many of you have unfair advantages that you're not using. Why? Batman was a billionaire. He used these billions to advance his cause. Use your skills. I'm using talking. What is your gift? Use it. But I digress and I end it here. Really hope this video has helped you and I'll see you in the next one.